Welcome to another episode of TehachaPod with your hosts, Key Budge and Corey Costello. TehachaPod is another way the city of Tehachapi shares information with our community.
It's a fall episode of TehachaPod. Corey Costello, I'm Key Budge. And Corey, it's the weather's changing.
Yeah.
We're noticing it a little bit. And there's some things that are going to take place here in the fall. We're still in our COVID up and down tier red, wherever we're at.
It's like the tier system is like the changing of the leaves. You know, we're right now we're in red, and then orange is better. And so it is kind of follows the pattern of the changing leaves in Tehachapi in the fall.
Well, with those fall colors that are
Right.
that are in front of us as we try and get all the businesses back open, our Tehachapi Library is going to do something cool. Veronica Wilson, our librarian, she's been doing virtual reading with the kids,
story time,
and all kinds of cool things to get different ages from pre-kindergarten, the elementary school, all the way up through the high school teens involved with some kind of extra activity just to kind of make things a little bit more fun with all this lockdown that we've had. So she thought, what about Halloween?
Yeah.
So we're going to have a conversation with her, and she's going to talk about something cool that the library is going to do for Halloween.
Yeah, and we're getting those questions a lot, like, what about Halloween this year? And, like, really the short answer is just, do what you're going to do, I guess. It's not, obviously there's still a virus out there, and so be smart about it, I guess, but yeah, there's nothing the city is going to do to either encourage or discourage your Halloween. Just go do what you want to do. If you're going to hand out candy, great. If you're not, do what you normally would do and shut the porch light off and don't be there or just make the house dark. It's the same kind of stuff. It doesn't really change. And so, I think that this year, and especially as we get into more holidays, right? And then you get stuff coming from the CDC or something, the state that might say, oh, you shouldn't celebrate this holiday. Like, that's hard to have people grasp that, And at this level, we don't want to be people telling you what you can and can't do on your holidays. So, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of cool options. I think this year, what Veronica's doing, there's some folks just coming up with their own ideas this year that are a little bit different. So, again, to kind of put that silver lining on COVID, things happen and then people start to get very creative. And then something maybe sticks for the long term. So This might be one of those cases. And it's one of those interesting, certainly an interesting fall. It'll definitely be an interesting Halloween here in Tehachapi.
Well, for the most part, kids are wearing a mask, part of their costume. One thing I saw cool on one of the morning shows over the weekend was someone had come up with the idea of using a large piece of PVC, like a 3-inch or 4-inch wide, and that was like their distribution tube.
Yeah.
So they had it set up so at the front door, they could drop the candy down the tube and not come in contact and have a safe social distance space to hand out candy.
I'm just straight throwing it at kids. Like, you're gonna earn it, right? I'm gonna hit you right in the numbers, right in the chest. Okay, you need to be able to. You gotta. If you catch it, I might throw another one at you. Miss the first one, that's all you get.
So you're turning Halloween into a fall sport.
Absolutely, okay. It's going to be a. It's more like I'm turning Halloween into more like an American Gladiator situation. Like, if I could find one of those things that they used to shoot tennis balls with, one of those guns, I'd be firing milk duds out of that. But it might be hard to build that before Halloween, just a few weeks away. But yeah, I'm gonna just gladly toss it at you. So
the potato gun, tennis ball gun kind of thing, you're going to do that with candy.
Yeah. Okay. Something soft like a peep.
Okay.
That way when
peeps.
That way when they absorb the blow,
okay.
it's not going to leave a mark. But you can get a little sporty with it this year.
Well, for the younger kids that might not be into that contact Halloween sport that you're talking about, let's check in with Veronica Wilson and what she has planned for the kids here in the downtown area of Tehachapi.
You're listening to TehachaPod.
Today we want to talk about something special that our Tehachapi Library is doing. And with us today is Veronica Wilson, our librarian from the Tehachapi Branch. Welcome to TehachaPod.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Tell me a little bit about what you guys have planned for Halloween. This is a different 2020 COVID Halloween, and you guys are doing something special.
Yeah, we wanted to think of something that the kids could do and that everyone would feel safe participating in. So we're doing the Great Monster Hunt. Monsters are running loose in downtown Tehachapi, and the librarians need your help finding them. So what'll happen is you can stop by the library and pick up a list of clues of where we think those monsters might be, and you can drive or walk around downtown and see if you can find them for us. Some of them are kind of dangerous, so you might want to stay in your car. But once you have collected all of those, your reward will be a bag of candy and little toys for your troubles.
What's the perfect age for this?
We're mostly aiming it at really just little kids through elementary school. So mostly the younger kids.
Very nice. Now, so this becomes a creative virtual trick-or-treating, if you will, that scavenger hunt, and then there's the reward at the end. Where did you guys come up with this? Is this something that's going on across the county, or is this just right here in Tehachapi?
This is actually just right here in Tehachapi. We were trying to come up with different events for the kids, and I know everyone is getting pretty burned out on the Zoom programs, so we wanted something that everybody could actually get out of their house and go do, but still keep it safe enough that everyone would be comfortable with it. And give the kids an actual reward instead of just Zoom videos. So, and parents can actually pick up the list of clues and the bag of treats at the same time, if that makes life easier for you. I know that's what I plan to do with my kids, so I can actually drive around on Halloween and get it done and then just give them the treats when we're all finished.
If parents want to get more information or to go ahead and sign up or participate, what's the step that they need to do?
So on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, the week of Halloween, so that'll be the 28th, the 29th, and the 30th, you can just stop by the library, and I'll have a table up in our little courtyard that's outside, and you can just run in and grab your list of clues and your treats, and you're ready to go.
That sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think it'll be fun. My 5-year-old is very excited. So.
Well, excellent. I know that you've been working on this for a couple of weeks. So what's been the response like from the businesses and different participants you've seen around town? How do they feel about it?
Oh, it's been great. Everyone has been so wonderful. Honestly, we've got probably more people who have volunteered to participate than we really hoped for. I wasn't sure how this was going to go, but we're going to have at least a dozen stops on the scavenger hunt. We've even had a few businesses donate candy and things like that to add to the goodie bags. So it's been a wonderful response. They even put it on the news for us a couple of times. So we're hoping for a good turnout.
Very nice. Do you have all the information up on your Facebook page?
Yes, there is an event on our Facebook page.
And people, what's the address on Facebook to find your page?
Facebook.com/Tehachapi Library.
Perfect. And what other programs do you guys have for the kids? Are they the reading programs? Those are still going on? You're still putting those together?
A lot of those are still going virtually, but in addition to the virtual story time, we also have take-home crafts. So if you want to do the craft along with us for story time, you can pick up all the supplies you need so that the kids can craft along with us. And we're also working on, there's a lot of different book clubs that are happening over Zoom and Facebook Live. And I'm also working on a scavenger hunt to put together for the teens in the area. That'll be a little bit harder than this one. So
sounds like fun.
To.
Congratulations, because you do such a great job. We really started paying attention to the things that you're doing when the COVID hit, and we started looking and going, oh my gosh, what are the activities? And you guys are being very creative and trying to include the kids and the teens. So great job. Just from our side, looking out, it's like you guys have been some of the leaders here in the community to make sure the kids have something to do during these very strange times that we're in.
Yeah, that was our goal. So hopefully it'll help a little bit.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. And we're looking forward to Halloween with a little bit different twist this year in the scavenger hunt in downtown.
Thank you. Yeah, it should be fun.
You're listening to TehachaPod.
I think that's pretty cool, scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to get some kids excited. They're going to start looking for things. They've got clues. And Veronica's got prizes or little goodie bags to give the parents so when the kids are all done.
That's awesome. And I know some private business owners around downtown are trying to do something similar, which is cool. And so there's going to be all kinds of options out there. It's going to be different a little bit this year, as everything has been. We're all getting pretty receptive to different and just making the best out of it and just trying something that's normally wouldn't be our tradition, so to speak. So this is a cool one. And then what other people are coming up with are pretty awesome as well.
So if you want to get more information on what Veronica's doing with the Tehachapi Branch Library, go to their Facebook page. It's Tehachapi Branch Library, and she'll have more information. But I know that things will start a few days before Halloween, so you can do it around that.
Yeah.
Now, we've also had something else pop up. We kind of talked about it a few weeks ago when we had the SBDC on our podcast.
Right.
We kind of teased it a little bit, but what happened last week?
So we talked about our Champions Award that went to our own Greg Garrett, who is the SBDC Champion of the Year for this region, which basically covers CSU Bakersfield's entire coverage area, which is Kern. They go Inyo, Mono out to the Central Coast as well. So I think there's 6 counties involved in this area that SBDC represents, at least the CSU Bakersfield version. Greg Garrett was named Champion of the Year for his supportive efforts of the SBDC and economic development. I was hoping that there was a belt involved, being a championship. There was not, but a very nice glass trophy was presented to Greg, and they did a small sort of ceremony here in Tehachapi to make that presentation in person. Mayor Wiggins was there, Councilwoman Scrivener was there as well, and Greg got the award. So I had the chance to catch up. Kelly Bearden, who we had on this program, and then Jay Thompson. Jay's a lot of the boots on the ground when it comes to Tehachapi businesses. He's got dozens of clients in Tehachapi, whether it's sole proprietorships, LLCs, or regular companies that have won awards like World Wind and Solar and Marty Pay Insurance. He works with these folks. And so he has a lot of, he's the kind of guy doing a lot of the groundwork in Tehachapi. So he was present as well, and I had a chance to sort of chat with those two after the presentation about what this award really meant.
Well, let's go check in with that conversation.
You're listening to TehachaPod.
Well, the award is the Central California Region SBDC Champion of the Year. And it's given to the stakeholder that exemplifies leadership and also the needs for your small businesses within your community. And today we were fortunate to be up and gave the award for the region to Mr. Greg Garrett, obviously the city manager of the city of Tehachapi. And for us, what it means is the success that we have had through the SBDC program and working with Tehachapi small businesses has been a win-win. It's been a win-win for the community, the small businesses, and also the SBDC. So it's really a pleasure to be up here. Normally we celebrate this at a large banquet in the region with a couple of hundred people there, and obviously this year we didn't do that. So a small gathering today, small COVID-safe gathering, and hopefully next year we can do something a little more substantial.
And Jay, real quick too, on your end, how many roughly active Tehachapi businesses do you have that you work with? Because you're kind of the guy who's here all the time.
Oh, probably over 100 local businesses that are active with us.
You really like to pride yourself on awards, getting your business's awards. So what's it like to have a partner and, like a guy like Greg getting an award as well?
Oh, it's fantastic. Greg's been a champion since I've been coming up here. I think I first came up here about 8 years ago and started working through the EDC and got to know everybody at the city, and it's just been amazing. But we don't get awards unless we have champion businesses that earn them. So they're not just handed out. They are earned, and they're hard to get. And it's getting harder all the time because the competition is tough.
He is amazing. And I'm really proud of the fact that Greg Garrett, City of Tehachapi, won this big award.
You're listening to TehachaPod.
Kelly and Jay and Mayor Wiggins had very nice things to say about the city of Tehachapi and Greg Garrett. And I know that Greg mentioned it's a team. During his acceptance of the award last week.
Sure.
So, economic development, that's your court.
Yeah, and those guys are part of the team. I don't, especially we talked about it during COVID. I don't know how to fill out the PPP paperwork or the disaster assistance loans paperwork, but they do. And so what I was doing is I was maybe taking some initial questions from business owners and then working with the SBDC to get them squared away. And those guys are the ones who know where all the funding is at and the assistance. And so they are certainly a part of our team. We don't have that in-house. Some larger cities do, but we don't have that in-house. And so we rely on folks like the SBDC, and they have an entire network all across California. They're all funded, and really across the nation. They're funded by the SBA, the Small Business Administration. But it's good to have that resource. It's one of those government resources that we can use to help folks get, whether it is a funding strategy or whether it's just a workflow. How do you make, maybe your business is struggling. They'll sit down and figure out, okay, what's the deal, or how can we sort of maximize your potential? So they do a great job. And when it comes to team, I consider them pretty much part of my team when it comes to economic development, because we're not very deep on that bench. And those guys have a wealth of information. They do a fantastic job.
And I've heard several business owners here in Tehachapi talk about the SBDC now.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I don't remember hearing that as much, but as the Economic Development Council here in Tehachapi has grown, their participation is right alongside it, and small business owners understand the importance.
Yeah.
They've got training they offer through their Wednesday webinars, and the resources they provide to you and everyone else seems to be very valuable in growing your business. and at least opening your eyes to opportunities.
Yeah, whether it's starting the business, growing the business, or like I said, even fixing the business, right? If there's some kind of logistical issue, right? They can help figure that stuff out. So that's the kind of the cool piece. And yeah, more and more Tehachapi area businesses, with the assistance of Jay Thompson, have stepped up and been a part of that because they see the value in what the SBDC has. So to have that award come to Tehachapi, it shows that there's a lot of support from the city for the SBDC, but it's quite vice versa as well. I mean, there's a lot of support for the city from SBDC as well.
And the SBDC has recognized Tehachapi businesses in the past for other awards, and I know that World Wind and Solar has.
Yeah, Marty Payne Insurance won, Triassic at one point. I think South Street Digital won it last year, one of their deals, the Business of the Year. Johnny's Take and Bake has won an award too. So there's been a lot of awards won by Tehachapi businesses over the years from the SBDC. Normally we have this big ceremony in Fresno in May, and of course that didn't happen this year. So, Greg got a nice little presentation in person. The rest of us that won awards from various things got them in the mail this year. I actually got one in the mail, and then it actually came with a picture frame that normally you would take a picture from the event of receiving it and frame it. And I said, what am I supposed to do, take a selfie of me holding this award and put it in the frame? So it's definitely been an interesting year for award recipients.
And if some of our business owners want to get more information about the SBDC, where should they go?
We've got it on our website as well, just at TehachapiCityHall.com or liveuptehachapi.com. In the economic development, there's links to the CSU Bakersfield SBDC, and you can even just hammer that out. It is the SBDC through CSU Bakersfield, and you'll find various pages and information there.
Outstanding. Anything else that we want to get out before as we head into fall and?
Continue to take advantage of fall in Tehachapi. I mean, there's still a few things, whether it's some of the family farms outside of the city, they're still doing special events. There's a few in-town pumpkin patches. I know Mountain Bible Church is getting close to running out of inventory, but they've been going strong for several weeks, and so that's still happening. And even down here, the last couple of weeks of the farmers market are going, and the cool part is a lot of our local farmers are now at harvest and bringing that stuff here to downtown, so that's very cool. And so we're starting to get that sort of autumn turn, and like I said, the leaves are turning, and more importantly, they're blowing off the trees, which we're finding them, you're finding them on your cars now when you leave work here at City Hall and all that stuff. So it's definitely that time of year. So a lot of cool things still happening for the next couple of weekends as fall kind of moves in.
As the colors change, we start to shift into another gear as businesses have been allowed to open up a little bit more here, being in this tier. Hopefully we can stay there and move to the orange tier, as you mentioned earlier. Yeah. So things to look forward to as we close out this long, drawn-out 2020.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly hope that we're on a good path, and it's nice to have most everybody back open in some capacity. I know restaurants are open, whether most of them have decided to continue with some kind of outdoor seating and indoor seating as well. And, I know the movie theater announced they were going to reopen here at some point, and we're working on reopening museums and that kind of stuff as well, depending on, those are volunteer organizations. The city may own the building, but the volunteers run it. And it depends on how comfortable the volunteers are with returning to work and returning to their shifts. And so that's being worked through as well. So hopefully, as we get closer to the holidays, we'll be back a little closer to normal. So we'll see.
With that being said, coming up, on future TehachaPod, we're going to be talking with folks from the Depot as they get closer to opening and getting that finalized. It's their 10-year anniversary of opening that facility, so that's going to be cool. We've got Seda Wolf, this young teenager. She has created her own comic book. We're going to talk to her about her Soulstream comics. Nice. And then also Senator Shannon Grove's going to come on as a part of our Veterans Day special podcast, and we're going to talk about veteran programs and things for our veterans and appreciate them.
Cool.
Yeah, so lots of things to look forward to. We appreciate you taking the time to join us here on TehachaPod. Make sure you follow us, tell your friends about us, and write a review. Give us a review because that always helps pop us up in the rankings of podcasts. So
if it's a good one. If it's going to be a bad review, don't waste your time.
If it's a bad one, we'll blame it on Greg because he's not here today.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. No, if it's a bad one, keep it to yourself. A good one, please, we'll accept those.
And of course, send us an email if you've got any questions or something you think that we should be talking about. media@TehachapiCityHall.com. That's media@TehachapiCityHall.com. And we'll catch you on the next episode of TehachaPod.
TehachaPod is a conversation about Tehachapi designed for the people who live here or who would like to know more about this mountaintop community. If you have a question you would like answered, email media@tehachapicityhall.com. We will try to answer it on a future episode of TehachaPod.